Alright, here's a brief video. I actually made some notes so I don't ramble on for an hour. It's about the lost symbol, the Nimitz UFO, double standards, abductees, and disclosure. So, I guess if I tried I could make it a funny story, but I'm not going to try too hard here. So I went to physical therapy today, and I've known this physical therapist for 10 years, maybe longer, and we were doing my intake for the physio, and I said, you know, don't write this down, and I told him about the Nimitz UFO, the one that they say was in 2004 in San Diego. And I showed him the pictures, and I said that, you know, here's a picture of the craft that was on TV, here's a picture of the plane that was on TV, here's another picture taken from the TV to show you it's the same thing. And I said it's classified, so obviously they're not going to tell people the truth about where the UFO was. It's classified. Of course, I didn't take any friggin' oath to protect that. Matter of fact, it showed up and snatched me because I will tell you. So he goes, oh, this doctor next door saw one. This was in Exeter, New Hampshire, where I was and where I had my first few major interactions with ET. And he says, yeah, the doctor next door who retired a little while ago, I used to work with him, and he saw the UFO in Exeter in the 80s. He was one of the people. And I'm like, yeah, the Mansculo sighting or whatever. Some family in Exeter is really big on, I don't know, naming that UFO incident after themselves. They wrote a book called The Exeter Incident, and yeah, I think that one got chased by, I think the cops chased that one, which is pretty funny. That's nothing though. I've had the Air Force chase a few of mine. It's funny. But then he goes, are you sure you're not seeing things or imagining them? And I was like, I had just showed him earlier the picture of the woman in my profile picture. I'm like, you just saw the picture. He's like, yeah, I know. But it was just interesting. That's one of the double standards, is that he had no problems seeing, you know, hearing it from, you know, what the show Altered Carbon called the Mets. The Mets and Altered Carbon are the rich people. So, you know, what a rich person says is important. And I know that's why some of you, at least one of you, one of my friends on here was like, not really. She says she meant well, I believe her. You know, she asked if I wanted to be rich and famous. And that, you know, it's like, I'm one of you. You understand? Like, I'm not rich. You know what I'm saying? I should be by all rights, you know. I absolutely should be rich. Maybe not famous, but I don't really care about that. And then later on in the session of oh yeah, so it was relevant to the physical therapy because where I had those holes in my abdomen after the abduction is where it's like one of the primary areas where I have a problem. And a little bit later, I don't know what we were talking about. Oh, we were talking about crazy people, and I said, yeah, Tesla was crazy. So the world needs crazy people, you know, because without people who are willing to be or appear crazy, you know, it's like, did Einstein really say the problem with smart motherfuckers is they look crazy to stupid motherfuckers? Well, I'm a smart motherfucker, and some people like to think I'm crazy, and I'm good, so some people like to think I'm evil. It's kind of funny how that works, you know. I guess that's how unremarkable people like to categorize things. It's like how people are so easy to say, oh, they're fallen angels, you know, but those same people, you'll never hear them talk about God. You'll never hear them talk about good angels. See what I'm saying? People have no problem talking about bad shit, but they don't want to talk about good stuff. They'll take the word of a rich person. Oh, you know, it's like Will Smith said, would a lunatic have a Porsche like this? And it's like, yeah, actually. Or no, it's what does it matter? You know, that's brainwashing. It's friggin' brainwashing. You understand? You're taught to take the word of people who have money and disrespect each other. You bunch of slaves. Anyway. So, and then I said, well, yeah, I said crazy people like Dan Brown, you know, because he changed the world. And I said, well, that's two crazy people, ain't it? And I said he already knew. I've known him forever, so he knew that the lost symbol is written about me. And I said, you read the lost symbol yet? And he said, I've read all of his books, but not that one. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. And it's like, I bet you nothing, because I'm just probably right, that none of you have read the lost symbol, because you know it's written about me. So you don't want to know. You don't want to know how deep this rabbit hole that I am goes. It goes deep. I go deep. I roll deep. It's like that. Nimitz UFO. Yeah, so that was they aired that on December 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And if you dig into it a little bit, on CNN it said in the same friggin' article, oh, it's classified, the location is classified. And then all of a sudden they're like, 2004 in San Diego. And I was like, are you kidding me? Because when I was in the ER getting treated for this was on the 23rd of October. And I looked for this UFO. I was like, I could be wrong. I'm not. I looked. And it was leaked on October 23rd by somebody, or at least somebody backdated their post on YouTube about it to October 23rd. I don't know why people do that. Because the source they used was from like December 20th. So, I don't know. So, yeah. So I'm going to be on that until that gets straightened out. Yes, I am. Oh, MK Ultra. Another day on that one. That's a big topic, though. I like that. I like that one. I hate it, but I like it. The mind control, yeah, it's complicated. That's a good one, though. It is. Yeah. So the double standards are that you're told to listen to rich people. Oh yeah. So he's like, yeah, my rich doctor buddy, he saw one in the 80s, and that's the Exeter incident that they did a book about. And keep in mind that we're like 10 miles away from where Barney and Betty Hill were when they were abducted. And that was like all over the news. But you know who they don't want to have on the news? Is this guy. So why don't they want to have me on the news? When my daughter was born, we were on the front page of the news, my older daughter Maya. We were on the front page of the newspapers and on the local news. But as soon as the camera went to me, it turned off. Because I was me, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be such a great year because my daughter, my best friend just died, and now I have a daughter. And they were like, don't look at the camera. And then they just edited me out, which, isn't surprising. What was my point? My point was, oh yeah, so Barney and Betty Hill were like, pretty sure that was national news. You can look it up. And that was like 10 miles from here. And then the 80s incident was like, had a couple cop cars chasing it, and they went public about it. And I know that the Air Force has seen these, you know, I've seen them. I had my neighbors see them chase one away once, and they've chased a couple away from me. And they chased the Nimitz was right in front of me. I was in my front yard. It was in my front yard. And the UFO went by. I got a picture of it, and 3 minutes later, the plane came. And it's a small plane. That's a fast, small little plane. That Raptor. I didn't even know what it was. I thought it was a UFO at first, and I thought it was like a missile. But it was a smooth flyer, and it was at a weird altitude. Not too low, but not high either. You don't see planes that small because they're freaking fighter jets. You understand? Oh yeah, so then he says, yeah, my friend is in one of Dan's book, and he even used his name, but he changed the spelling. And, you know, he said it just like his fact, like no big thing. And I was like, yeah. And then I think it was later on where he had just given me the physio, and I was like dying because my right leg's atrophied, my back's broken, and I'm pretty screwed. And he's like, do your homework, and I'm thinking, I'm going to be in excruciating pain. The least you can do is read the book that you know is written about me. And when I'm leaving, he says, do your homework. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to do yours too? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to read the book. And I'm thinking, yeah, and I'm going to do the exercises that are going to make me freaking cry. That's how excited I am about that. Alright, so... oh yeah, so here's another double standard for you. And this just goes... no publical views are allowed to make a report about true experiences. It's against the community system. Yeah, maybe. That's about disclosure, I guess. So I brought up the topic in my high school. They had the class reunion, and they never invited me to any of the reunions, which is fine because I wouldn't have gone, and they probably know that. But they were like, there was this older upperclassman, and he was always like, you know, he was like the football player, the Mr. Popular, because he was a football player and an actor. So, and I remember years ago his MySpace page said, I'm kind of a big deal. That was like his caption, like, this is my name and I'm kind of a big deal. And so he got a show on like the Travel Channel or something, and I was like, ha, that's nothing. And I was like, yeah, well, I got this book here written about me and this other stuff, and how you like me now. And they, of course, like most people, don't know what to do with me, so none of them said anything, except for there's always the designated person that's gonna, like, you know, give you crap. And that person was like, rah, 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 rah. And basically whatever they said was like a little dog yipping. The dog was yipping at me. And I was like, just like that, like, yeah, little dog yipping at me. This is why I didn't like you guys then. This is why I wouldn't have gone. But I'm still going to give you a hard time for not inviting me. But it's, you know, the double standard. They, you know, since they were little, they looked up to that guy. And they looked down on me. And the idea of me having any success is just, the human race is allergic to it. But when I become rich and famous, I will still talk to you guys. I won't talk to new people, though, who are like, oh, now I'm your friend. I'm like, no, you're not. You're cool, though, you're cool, but no, you're not my friend. I don't know you. So, abductees. So, I think there's a lot of lunatics that are rich, like Will Smith. And I think there's a a lot of lunatics that are poor. And in between, I think there's a lot of lunatics and a lot of decent people who are somewhat lunatic or have lunatic moments or just idiots or geniuses and all those things. Believe it or not, in the whole electromagnetic spectrum, there's every kind of person mixed in there. But the brainwashing tells you it has to be a certain way. So what is this? What am I getting at? I'm getting at the topic of abductees. Someone says they have an experience, and increasingly people are more open, at least with me, about their experiences. And you know, some of them are really, I mean, 99% of the people, like, there's no upside to lying about paranormal activity. There's really not, unless you're like, you have absolutely nothing, you know, like if you have a family or a career or like any kind of a life whatsoever, there's absolutely no upside to lying about paranormal activity or UFOs or aliens or anything in between those topics, which is basically everything that is paranormal. So like, so these ET stabbed me in the guts, right? I mean, you guys saw the marks. That felt like being murdered with a knife about 5 times. And if you read the lost symbol, you'll see how interesting all this really is. At least to me. And probably you, if you ever actually read the book. Buying it doesn't count. But so when I went to the ER as an abductee, I lied. I said I think somebody broke into the house, which at that point I was trying to put like a realistic thing on it. You know, like that's more realistic to the average idiot than alien abduction, right? It's more likely that even, you know, that a room with a locked door and locked doors and locked windows is going to be broken into and you're going to be harmed in a home invasion than it is by extraterrestrials. And so that's what I said. I was like, oh, people broke in, tortured me when I was sleeping. And they're like, do you feel safe in your home? And I was like, oh, you're gonna pull that nonsense? I was like, yeah, I do. Because I do. But they treated me badly. They treated me badly. And one guy seemed to take a personal, sadistic, protector of the realm attitude about it too, like I was a bad guy because something bad happened to me, you know. It's like, no, you ungrateful, one droopy-eyed weird dude following me at the friggin' emergency room. Work here, think you can, jackass. No. So I know that most abductions are not, they aren't like that, you know. They're just not like that. But when people do have these, I mean, I'm an American citizen, right? I live in America. As an American citizen, you can say that you don't have the right to know about extraterrestrials. And who's going to say that? Nobody who's ever going to talk to you. Because they don't talk to you. You understand? So probably one of the main reasons why I was harmed or whatever was to make the impression and to facilitate disclosure. But what about the other people who, even if they are nuts, or even if they really don't know what happened, but they have had an encounter, or they think they have, by not having disclosure happen, by keeping disclosure or the truth, by keeping the truth occulted, hidden from the masses, you leave people who could be missing like 2 hours of time and or whatever. I know most people don't have this degree of experience that I'm having, that I've had ongoing. I understand that, but maybe this is part of the reason. Disclosure is not going to come from your government. It won't. It's just not going to. It may. It did, the Nimitz, but they lied about where it was. It was here, December 20th, 2017, in my front yard. Not in San Diego in 2004. You can go check CNN, Fox News. You can Google the Nimitz UFO, Nimitz UFO. And look on YouTube and watch the news, And the pilot they interviewed, guess where he was? He was in Manchester, New Hampshire. Coincidentally, right? Because I live in New Hampshire. And it wasn't even the actual pilot. But I won't say who I think it was, because I'm a good American at the same time. So, disclosure, which is a stupid word, like truther, but the truth about extraterrestrials need to be made known, because people who are having real experiences either need a support system. The MUFON is horrible, by the way. I had a friend the other day trying to get me to finish my MUFON meeting, or I reported what's now known as the Nimitz UFO to MUFON, and I had no faith in them to begin with, but I did it anyway, and it was total garbage. They're volunteers, and therefore they will only give 1 hour to any case. Not only that, but they don't make the information public, and they want you to submit photos to them, which they then own the rights to. So, you're all excited and you're like, oh, I just had an encounter. I just saw a UFO. I don't mean to say that rudely, but you're like, most likely you'd be like, wow, that's really cool. So you send it to MUFON, and you think they're going to care, but they don't. They're just a data collection service. You understand? They don't care about you. They don't. And they don't even show each other you have to be a certain kind of member of MUFON to even see the disclosure materials. They are not disclosure. MUFON is not disclosure. MUFON is the system. If it was the Matrix, they'd be nothing. They're not Smith. They're sure as hell not Morpheus. They're not going to tell you the truth. But they really want my photos. They really want my photos. And I sent them the photos. They've already seen them, or one person did, the head of the MUFON in New Hampshire. She's seen them, but there was another case. I looked up MUFON, New Hampshire, and there was a triangle. It was a triangle-shaped craft with one light in each corner, and it's not classified, but it's not like common public knowledge, so I won't name it right here, even though I did earlier today in a post, or yesterday, or in a comment actually. But the field investigator for MUFON listed it as unknown, and all they had was a sketch, unknown. I looked at it and instantly knew what it was. And they don't know enough to know what a plane is. They don't even know what a plane is. If you don't know what a plane is, or a semi-unknown to the public, unless you're a nerd, craft, TR3A, TR3B, TR-3A, TR-3B, that's the craft. But that was the craft, and it was unknown. If you look it up yourself. MUFON, New Hampshire, and you'll find that case. At least if you use a crappy search engine like I did, it popped up pretty quick. And yeah, so they're total garbage. And then you have SETI, this Center extraterrestrial. Wait, CSETI is the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence. That's run by Dr. Stephen Greer. And I looked them up, and they have a P.O. box. Now, they give presentations. God knows how much those cost to attend. And he has people who are, would a lunatic have a Porsche like this? They're in the military. Oh my God, they're in the military. They know things we don't know. Yeah, of course they do. But they don't know things about UFOs that I don't know. Not much, anyway. They don't. Most of them know vastly less. Air Force, vastly less. Navy knows some stuff. But how unfair is it to abductees that we live in a society where, I mean, and the doctors at the ER, I mean, there was the douche nozzle guy that was like being really rude to me when I was being treated from the abduction, but he was not a doctor. The medical professionals that I talked to, and I'm not going to go into too much detail here because, you know, they're upstanding citizens in the Matrix, but they did make clear that they knew what was going on. Made clear enough. They had enough knowledge about these things. They had enough knowledge. They knew. They knew. So, and that's probably why, I mean, I had seen enough before this, obviously. I've known about this for quite a while, about the UFOs and the extraterrestrials and the abductions. I've been dealing with this myself for decades. But abductees should be able to have it be okay. You know, like, and I'm not saying, like, if people start coming out of the woodwork, like, let's say disclosure, let's say that I personally succeed at this, right? Let's say they're like, well, we've been screwing over John pretty bad. We didn't give him enough credit for the lost symbol. He's right. When his daughter was born, we put him on the screen for a sec. She was on we were on TV because she was the first leap year baby born in the year 2000 in the state that we live in New Hampshire. So we were on the front page and on the news. And coincidentally, they say it was Thoth who discovered the leap year, the first calendar that had the leap year in it, that added the extra day in February, the February 29th, was the Thoth calendar. And they say Thoth won a game of chess against the baboon or the moon and was able to get that day or that information. And I don't know who the baboon's supposed to be, but if I had to guess, and I will guess because I'm feeling sporting, is that the baboon is actually the guy I call the Joker. And the Joker is a guy, I've posted his picture a few times, and but I was really vague about it for a few years. But yeah, so I think we covered everything here. So disclosure is not, this is how it's going to happen. You know, I say I am disclosure, and people are like, oh, ego. And it's like, are you kidding me? You know, like, go tell Kobe Bryant he has an ego. You know, go tell one of these celebrities whose boots you lick that they have an ego. You mind slave. You know, like, when it comes to certain things, when it comes to certain topics, I know more than you do. And I'm trying to teach you. But more importantly, I'm trying to, remember I said the other day in the video, I said, you can be a master. You can become a master. You know, you can. And one way you can do it is by helping me to have disclosure happen. The truth of the Nimitz UFO, the truth of what's going on with UFOs, the truth about the lost symbol, I'm Malachi. And I don't even tell you guys about the things that I deal with for telling you some of the stuff that I either have told you do tell you, or may, but the stuff that I may tell you, that's like what happens when I tell you what I tell you. Sometimes I'm not going to tell you that stuff. It's not good for you or me. It just doesn't serve any purpose. But so you guys are disclosure, you know. I had a friend who sent me a picture a while back, and she just basically said, a couple of different people said, you're the chosen one. And I was like, what? And then one of them said, to teach us about E.T. And I was like, So, grudgingly, you know, it took me a while to make these videos. You didn't see me jumping up and down with excitement to tell you guys about this in videos in October, did you? Right after it happened? Hell no, I was traumatized. I've been through a lot in my life. I've seen a lot of things, had a lot of experiences, but I guess this is so I can teach you. This is the role I play, you know. Everyone has a role to play in this world, in this realm, as Tesla said, and in our society, and in the world. You know, yours is important. I always say you guys are better than me at most things, and it's true. And if you think that you want the great responsibility of knowing these things, then prove it. Know these things. Share my videos. And remember, I'm not getting rich off this here. I'm posting these on Facebook. They don't, you know, the clicks don't even count. It's just how many people are hearing the information. That's all this is. So the information is important. Yeah, the lost symbol, Nimitz UFO, double standards, abductees, disclosure. So when I say you're a mind slave or whatever, it's not to insult you. I totally understand people's hesitancy on these topics. If I didn't live this, I don't think I'd care too much about this. Maybe that makes me selfish. I don't know. And I'm not saying if you don't share this or you don't care about this stuff that you're selfish. I'm not saying that at all, because I wouldn't care either. I'd probably, unless I was into this stuff, which I am. So maybe I would. I don't know. At any rate, I was chosen to have these experiences and tell you the truth. You can make a choice to have disclosure happen. Disclosure, you want your masters to do it in the friggin' media and government. It ain't gonna happen. So you need to make the choice. If you want it to happen, then you need to be an agent of change. Well, not even of change, of truth. And not even of mean truths. You know, I'm not saying any of this with meanness towards anyone. You know? It's just the truth. So I want you to have the choice. Steve Wenner, good to see you, man. I want you guys to have the choice to share the truth with people. Just the truth, you know. Post it and say, this guy's an idiot. I don't care. They'll hear the truth. They'll know it's true. And they'll know it's true because it's true. That's one of the tricks of this matrix. You know. You know when I tell you, when I'm talking to you, you know it's the truth. Do you not? I think you do. I think that's how it works. So, if you have experiences or you know people who have had experiences, I'm not ready to say I want to hear about it. I mean, if you guys have, then you can tell me, but I don't want to be the finder of lost children, you know, of like abductees. Like, that's too much responsibility. And maybe that's why disclosure is not happening, you know. But you guys, I'm making a decision. This is disclosure. I say I am disclosure. I'm disclosure. I'm the guy in the lost symbol. I'm the guy that they friggin' snatch up, put on TV, you know, just to see what I'll do. Even if they don't know why they put it on TV, that's why. You know, when things happen on the news and I'm like, that's not what happened. It feels like a test. Like they want to see if I'll fall for a lie, and I don't. And I'm just like, oh, what the heck. So if you guys are ready for the truth, then prove it, you know. And no, as somebody said earlier that they wanted to share my videos, but the stuff's personal, so they thought I'd be mad. No, I won't be mad. I want you to share these videos. You know, I've lost so much in my life, things that I care so much about. And I guess doing this makes it a little bit better. So, thank you for listening, watching, and sharing.